Okay, we are live. Actually, hold on. I got to turn on IG. Oh, hold on. Might want to go live here. Lives. Okay, cool. You are live now. All right, so we are live. Let's go live here on TikTok, on the TikTok phone and Instagram phone. All right, we are live. We're going live here on 7 platforms today. We're going live here on StreamYard. We're in the Facebook group Sales Revolution. Got about 41,000 of you run around in there. We're live here in the Facebook business page. Got about 80-some thousand in there. Our YouTube account just got verified there. LinkedIn, my Facebook. We're also going live here on Instagram. Got about 257,000 now. You guys are running around crazy over there. Hey, what's up, SolarFar? How's it going, man? What's going on, boss? What's up? Inspiration plug. All right, look, I'm not that inspiring, but I can teach you certain skills that I have acquired if you want to sell more. I don't know if that will inspire you, but if you can sell more, you're probably going to have a lot more confidence, right? And hello, TikTok to you guys as well. All right, so today's Q&A, I've got about 35 minutes. I know I'll probably get 300 questions, so I'm going to try to answer as many as I can in 35 minutes, all right? Now, when you ask me a question, make sure you tell me what industry you're in. Okay, I sell this, and my question is this. Or I sell this, I do outbound leads, or I do inbound leads, or a cold call, and my question is this. If I understand that, I can actually answer your question. If I don't understand the context, because I can't just pull you out, okay? I can't just pull you out and like get you on here. Now, if you're brand new to our Facebook group, or you're brand new, you're following me here on Instagram, just barely like, who the hell is this guy in the Hugo Boss shirt? Or you're following me on TikTok now, or maybe you're following me on YouTube or LinkedIn, okay? My name is Jeremy Miner. I am the founder of 7th Level. Now, we are a sales training organization that trains salespeople exactly like you. So we train salespeople like you, sales professionals like you, coaches like you, consultants like you, entrepreneurs like you, sales leadership, management like you, executives like you, okay? Business owners. Now, we train you and your teams how to transform the way you sell. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, that means by learning techniques that actually trigger your prospects to want to pull you in, rather than you trying to push, okay? Techniques that work with human behavior rather than work against it. Now, that might be important for you to understand, okay? How do you use human behavior to do that, okay? How do you trigger a prospect to become curious enough to want to engage and open up to you rather than emotionally shut down? And even the very best questions you ask, they just shut down. They give you 3 or 4 word answers. And then at the end, they stay surface level. Then at the end, they say, I want to think it over. And the deal's over because you can't overcome that as well. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. Now, that's called NEPQ. That stands for Neuro Emotional Persuasion Questioning. Okay. Now we have to teach you the right tone, because in certain questions you ask, your tone has to be more of a curious tone. When you ask the question, like, I'm curious, when you said, that's a curious tone. Now, some questions, when you get throughout that conversation, when there's more trust and credibility built from your question ability, you have to ask certain questions in more of a skeptical tone, like a challenging tone. And then there's certain times in that conversation where you've triggered emotional drivers in their brain. Do you even know what that means? You might want to know what that means if you want to sell a lot. You trigger emotional drivers, you got them in their emotional state, and you lean in with more of a concern tone with certain questions, more a tone that has more empathy, which triggers them to open up even more and relive more of their pain and why they have to change. Okay. And if we don't know those things, because what I just gave you is just a little overview there, then you're just losing sales you could be making. Go read Spin. Well, Spin's logical based selling, but we're talking about more emotional drivers, okay? I know a little bit about behavioral science, possibly. Okay, all right. Spin was a good book in the 1980s, but this is 2022, 2023. We are in a different era. Prospects and the power of social media, the internet has changed the ballgame, has changed your prospects' attention to you compared to the 1980s. We are living a different world. If you're still using techniques from the 1980s, even if you're doing good, well, You learn how to work with human behavior, you'll be up here, even if you're already doing good. I can assure you. Okay. All right. Now let's go through the questions. Now, if you're on the live right now, go post #live. If you're on the replay, go post #replay. And I want you to smash the heart button and smash the like button. Okay. I'm going to start here with a couple here from the Facebook group, because that's where I spend most of my time these days, is in that Facebook group. And then we'll move over to YouTube and IG and some of them like that. Okay. Hold on. Okay, let me get a really, really good question. All right, Drew from YouTube, NEPQ student here. Well, what program do you have? Like, if you only have the basic black book of questions, that's like a starter program. That's $30. That's not really, you're not going to like quadruple your sales. If you're in like NEPQ 2.0 or advanced NEPQ 3.0 or advanced inner circle, that's where you're going to make 5 times more than what you are now. Okay, working on my personalized intro for life insurance. You know how people worry about being able to pay? Okay, first of all, Drew, for life insurance, because we train tens of thousands of life insurance agents. It's one of, like, out of the 158 industries we train, life insurance is in the top 5 now. Okay, so I'm very familiar with your space. Train thousands in that space, tens of thousands at this point. You're pretty much never going to use a personalized intro for life insurance. Unless a personalized intro is only used, like if you're at a networking event and somebody literally comes up to you and says, hey, what do you do for work? What do you do for a living? Well, then maybe use a personalized intro there. But if you're calling back outbound leads or people that have already been triaged from somebody before you and now they're booked on your calendar, you're never just going to roll into your personalized intro. You just would never use that. So there's no point in focusing on it for you, for your industry, because you're pretty much calling outbound leads who've responded to some type of mailer. So you're never going to use like a personalized intro. Okay. I just want to make sure you're clear on that. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Hey, Jeremy, I work in massage therapy. Any tips? K. William. Tips meaning what? Like, you got to give me more context. Great industry, train lots of people in the industry, how to sell a lot more. Their practices are blowing up now, chiropractors as well, physical trainers. But I need more context, like any tips. Well, I can give you like 10,000 tips, right? If you're one of our clients, you wouldn't even probably be asking me for any tips because they're all right there. They're not tips. Tips don't make you a lot of money. Skill does. Tips are just tips, okay? Tips, if you want tips, go watch some of my reels on Instagram. Those are tips. Those are basic. Those are little nibbles compared to what our clients go through in our virtual training platforms and our group training that's more industry specific. Tips not going to make you wealthy. Give you a little bit, but not much. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So Drew, you're going through the portal. So is that 2.0 or advanced 3.0? Focus on just the exercise, what I call the purchase leads. Yeah, because you're not really going to use your personalized intro for purchase leads. There's just no need for you to focus. Oh, you're an advanced 3.0. Well done. Okay. Sell me this pin, Joey. Well, first of all, you'd probably need to find out what type of pin they use right now. That'd probably be your first question. Okay. All right. Let's say Noah K. In your course, you don't teach the science on how to handle rejections. You only teach how to handle basic rejections. Well, Noah, what course are you talking about? Which course are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. We have 26 different courses. Some of them are very, very basic. And of course, very, very basic training is not going to go through everything from A to Z. That's why it's basic. That's why it's really cheap. Our advanced stuff does. If you're an advanced NEPQ 3.0 and advanced inner circle, that's where we handle all that. Now, here's the science, Noah, in how to handle rejection. Learn better skills so you don't get rejected. I'm not understanding. Like, do you understand why you get rejected? Is because you're triggering that. You're triggering sales resistance from your prospects. Okay. So there's 2 forms of rejection. I just want to make sure everybody understands this. Typically, the rejection that most salespeople are talking about is like you'd make a cold call or you get on an outbound lead in the first couple minutes, like, hey, I'm not interested. And they slam the phone. Now that rejection hurts. That rejection can be eliminated completely. Okay. Or you get into the call 2 minutes later and they're like, hey, enough with the questions. Just tell me how much it's going to cost and I'll tell you if I'm interested. Well, that something you said or asked triggered that response from them. They didn't just wake up in the morning and be like, you know what, when I get on a sales call, I'm going to go into fight or flight mode and I'm going to say this. No, you triggered it by what you said or how your tone came across. Okay. Now that's the first form of rejection. That can be eliminated. We can teach all that too. That's in our advanced training. Teach you how to disarm prospects. What words are you using? that trigger resistance compared to relanguaging where it doesn't trigger sales resistance, okay? Now, the second form of rejection is where they go through your entire sales process. You've opened them up, you've done everything the right way, but it just doesn't fit in what they're looking for. Now, the second can still feel, it hurts, but it doesn't really feel personal like the one slapping you in the face telling you suck and you're not interested. That first form of rejection can be completely eliminated by your skill level. And really, the second form of rejection can be greatly reduced by your increased skill level. Okay, so I'm not sure what course you're talking about, but if you're in a $27 course, do you think it's going to teach you all advanced training on that? Of course not. Why would I do that? Why would I put all of our advanced training in a $27 course? It wouldn't make any sense. All right, so that's in our advanced training. Okay, all right. Let's see here. I sell solar. What emotions would you work to tap? Okay, train thousands in solar too. That's probably one of the top 15 to 20 industries you're trained. I have 158. Okay, so I don't know if you're in our virtual training courses, Facebook user. It doesn't tell me your name. It just says I sell solar here. So I don't know if you're in the Facebook business page or my Facebook, but you tap in their emotions by certain questions you're asking. Okay, so I might ask, and let me pull up one of these sales structures here for you from your industry. Do I have that in front of me? I might not have that in front of me. If I have that in front of me, you're going to be well off here. If I don't, I'll just have to try to remember off the top of my head. Let's see here. Let's see what I could say here to you. I'm trying to find you something good here. All right, hold on one second, brother. Let me give you something good that you can sink your teeth in here. Okay, so here's a couple questions you could ask to pull out. And it has to be set up the right way. And I'm going to come over to IG. Don't worry. I know you got a lot of questions here. And I know TikTok, you got some questions here. I'm going to come over here to you guys too. But to answer the solar question, like what emotions are you tapping? Well, it has to be set up. Okay, so let's say, and I'll give you an example now. Hopefully this makes sense to you because I can't give you like all the examples because we'd be on here for 3 hours. But those are all in our virtual training courses, our group training. Teach tons of people in your industry. We teach people in your industry that make 50 grand a month, 80 grand a month, 100 grand a month, 150 grand a month. Tons, not just one. Like we're talking tons. So if you want to learn those skills, just message me directly right now. Okay, so let's say that after you go through your connecting questions, you've triggered curiosity, which I don't have time to go through how to do that. That's in our virtual courses as well. You've come back for the appointment. Okay, you helped them find a problem. Okay, and let's say there's questions you ask. Okay, and tell me a little bit now. There's several questions before this, so don't get me wrong. You're not asking this as the first question. Now, can you tell me what your bill typically looks like? I know sometimes it's lower, but what are your bills been going up to in the last 6 to 12 months? Okay. I see. Okay, that makes sense. And what about the rate hikes? Like what have they been forcing you to pay as far as the rate hikes? Well, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. Well, if it helps you, like this is the bill from your neighbor here, Mr. Johnson. And if you look here, 3 years ago, he was paying 13 cents per kilowatt. And if you look here, he's now paying 28 cents per kilowatt. So that means in 3 years, his bill has doubled. What have you been seeing from yours? Oh, you've had your bill doubled as well. So and this is kind of a cheesy question, but I mean, do you want to have to keep paying the rate hikes if you didn't have to? Notice how I lowered my voice. Now notice, because that's a rhetorical question. If you're like, do you want to have to pay the rate hikes if you didn't want to? Well, of course not, you idiot. See, that's anytime you ask a rhetorical question, you say that. Now, this is kind of a rhetorical question. It's probably obvious. Or you can say, this is kind of a cheesy question, but do you want to have to pay the rate hikes if you didn't have to? No, if I didn't have to, I wouldn't. Now, let's talk about that. Can I ask you in something in regards to like your power company used without you getting, now, can I ask you, let me do this tone out. Now, can I ask you something in regards to your power company that you're using without you getting upset at me? Notice my facial expression. Without you getting upset at me? You know what they're going to say? No, I wouldn't get upset with you. What do you mean? If the utility company that you use now, let's say they came over to your house today, and this is another cheesy question, but forgive me. And let's say they gave you the option to lock in your payment for the next 25 years, where they never can raise it. They say, we're not going to raise it for 25 years. And then at the 25-year mark, they say, hey, you don't even have to pay us again, completely free. You have no bill ever. What would you tell them? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But is that possible? Well, maybe. I'm not saying it doesn't work for every home. I'm going to have to find out more to see if we could do something. Johnsons were able to do something for them. There's a possibility. But let's say they come back 6-7 years later and your rate has been locked in the whole time, same amount, hasn't gone up at all. Like you said, it's been doubling in the last 3 years. But then they come back and they try to persuade you to go back on the old plan where they can just raise the rate every year they wanted. You have no choice. They're just going to raise it by 10% every year. You stuff it in your face. And there's no ending date. So they force you to pay that bill until you die. What would you tell them in that situation? And notice how I lowered my tone. I would tell them to F off. I can't believe they are doing that. Now, do you see what I just did by those 3 little questions? Now, there's a lot before that, and there's a lot after that. Those 3 little questions triggered what's called their emotional drivers. It got them into their emotional state where they're like, F the utility company. They're forcing me to pay these rate hikes just by my words I used and my tone. And let's say that they said that, you're going to be forced to pay this till you die. What would you tell them in that situation? See, my voice lowers there. Okay. I would tell them to F off. I can't believe that. See, that's where the sale's made when they go below the surface. So hopefully that answered a little bit of your question. Now you want a lot more of that because that's just a little. I just gave you like 2% of what you have to do in solar. That's all in our virtual training courses and our group training with our 3.0 members and Advanced Inner Circle. Message me directly if you want to start making 5 times what you are now, because we have tons of clients that do that were making $3,000 to $5,000 a month when they started here a year or 2 ago. Okay. Hopefully that helped you. Okay. Let's go over to IG. I feel like I'm leaving you guys out in the cold. Then I'm going to go over to TikTok. Then I'm going to come over to LinkedIn and Facebook again here. I've only got about 20 more minutes here. I got to get out here a little bit early today. Is everybody, hey, Merry Christmas to you guys. Some of you are saying Merry Christmas. I want to, hey, just before we go here, because I might forget, I just want to say Merry Christmas to all of you guys. Love all of you guys. I don't know all of you guys. If you're clients, we onboard about 600 to 700 new clients in our advanced training 3.0 and Inner Circle every month. So I see names and stuff and see testimonials. So I know a lot of them. Some of you I don't know if you're not one of our clients, but I appreciate you being here because you want to get better. You want to learn. So this is a good positive first step. So I just want to say Merry Christmas. Spend some time with your loved ones, your family. One thing I learned, in my 17-year sales career, I made, if you don't know me, I made a bit under 33 million in straight commissions in 4 different industries as the W-2 or 1099 rep. Okay. And what I found my first 10 years, I worked my ass off into the ground so hard. Now I acquired a lot of skills. You don't make 1.5 to 2.5 million a year in commissions at a job without understanding human behavior, right? And I'm still learning that. But the first 10 years, I spent so much time that I feel like I neglected my kids in a way. Not in a bad way. I wasn't working like 18 hours a day or anything like that. But I came to realize as I got older that time is your most valuable asset, because time is something you can never buy back. Can you buy more time? Can Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos buy more time? No. And once your time's gone, you can never buy it back. So holidays, spend some time with your family, spend some time with your loved ones. That doesn't mean don't work hard. And in fact, the more advanced skills you learn as a sales professional, guess what? You have to work less because you get much better at closing more of your prospects. So instead of you having to work 12 hours a day to make 100,000, well, let's say you double your sales ability. You now only have to work maybe 8 hours a day to make 200-some thousand. And it gives you a better quality of life. See, you work hard and you work yourself to death because you don't have the right skills. So you go through a lot of rejection. You lose sales that you could be making, that our clients who are in your industry make every day, left and right. They're no different than you. They don't have cool hair or cool shoes. They brush their teeth. Apparently, I've heard they eat food and drink water. They just have acquired more skills than you. You can acquire those skills. They're all right here. They're in our virtual training courses. They're in our group training, 26 different products now. So spend some time with your family and your loved ones, because like I said, time is something you can never buy back. Hopefully that gave you a little inspiration to spend some time with your family. Okay, let's see what questions we got here on IG. Love from Pakistan. Hey, love it. The LFG coach. I love that. How do you make $500K a year in sales? That's a question a lot of people ask me. We got thousands of clients that do more than that now as W-2 or 1099. Has everything to do with your sales ability. Very little to do with your industry. I still got 12 minutes. Don't kick me out. They're coming in here to get me out of here. Always meeting to meeting, or some reel I got to do, or some YouTube video or something. All right. So to make 500,000, it has probably about 5% to do with your industry and about 95% to do with you and your sales ability. Okay. Look, you can read all the personal development books on planet Earth, which I love personal development. I think it's great. You can journal every day for 2 hours. You can meditate like a monk in Tibet on the mountains. But none of that matters when your prospect answers the phone and you don't know what to say and ask with the right tone that triggers them to let their guard down, to become open to you. You don't know how to control the sales process by getting them to pull you in. You don't know how to work with human behavior. You trigger resistance. And that's why you get so many objections and you get punched in the face very, very quickly. And all that motivation stuff that you just listened to that morning, guess where it goes? Out the window really quickly. You gain certainty and confidence in your sales ability by acquiring the right skill sets, by knowing what questions to ask that actually work, by knowing what tone to ask in each question that actually work, that make you 2 to 3 to 5 times more in sales than what you're doing now. That builds you certainty in your brain. That gives you confidence. That motivates you to get back on the phone. If you don't have those skills, guess what? You don't want to get on the phone because you don't want to be rejected, because that's all you're going to get if you don't have the skill level. Now, the skill level is not something you're born with. Who on here was born out of your mother's womb with advanced questioning skills? Anybody? Were you born out of your mother's womb with advanced tonality skills? I know I wasn't. Were you born out of your mother's womb with advanced objection handling and advanced objection prevention skills? Maybe you were. I never was. I acquired all my skills. That made me a multimillionaire in 17 years as a salesperson working for a company for 4 different industries, 2 B2B, 2 B2C. So if I acquired those skills, a kid who grew up in a town of less than 800 people in the middle of Missouri on a cattle ranch, what does that mean to each of you? It means you can acquire the same damn skills. We have it all in our training courses. Why are you not in them? You just like getting punched in the face all the time? I don't like getting punched in the face. I'd rather have the right skills. So you make $500,000 a year in commissions by advancing your sales ability. Because Joe Richards, if what you're saying now and how you're saying it and what you're asking now has, let's say, only got you to 80,000 a year or 100 or 150 or 200, well, if you keep doing exactly the same thing and say the same thing and ask the same questions, how the hell is it going to get you to 500? It can't. It's impossible. Okay. I can assure you, unless you're selling $5 magazines door to door, that we have people in your industry that make more than 500,000 now. I don't know what industry you're in, but I can assure you we do. Okay. We have over 11,000 testimonials and growing. We get like 30 to 40 new ones every single day now. It's insane. Okay. Hopefully that answered your question. Level up your skill ability, your sales ability, and I can promise you can make 500,000 or more. I mean, we've had car sales people come to us that were making 50 grand a year, and they're like, "There's no way you can make 500,000 or 600,000 years as a car salesman." Oh yeah, we have that. And then a year later, guess what they made? Maybe 400,000. Then the next year they made 600. It's all possible. You just have to earn the right sales ability. Okay. Same in every industry that's watching me right now. Okay. All right, let's go through some other questions. That was a good question. I'm a therapist and use your techniques to sell behavioral change. Thank you. You're welcome. Graham, hopefully you're one of our clients, because if you're one of our clients in our training courses, you'd probably do about 10x what you're doing right now just from the basic reels. The basic reels are just little nibbles. Imagine like a puzzle that's like 110,550 pieces. The reels, I'm giving you like 2 or 3 pieces of those. They're like nothing. They're very basic. So you get into our courses, you'll make 10 times more than what you are. Miami needs a conference. I love Miami. Got a lot of big clients there. I'm in a recruitment consultant firm. What is the best way to get clients to give you roles to fit? Well, I'm in a recruitment what do you mean a recruitment consultant firm? Do you mean like you're a headhunter where you're, calling certain people to try to recruit them over to another job opportunity? Is that because we train tons of people in the recruiting industry? Is that what you're saying? What is the best way to get clients to give you roles to fill? You're going to have to clarify that for me. I sell nukes to Russia from Canada. Robert, you're the funny guy. We always have to have the funny guy on here. I sell cybersecurity. That's awesome. We train tons in cybersecurity. What method would you recommend other than selling on fear? Well, I don't know what you mean by selling on fear. I don't sell on fear. We teach you how to sell on the real problems that the prospect didn't know they had. Not really fear. Fear doesn't necessarily work. You can't force fear on a human being because they know what you're trying to do because you're a salesperson. So you want to learn how to sell to the real problems the prospect doesn't know they have. Let me make sure you understand what I mean by that. Okay. This is why you can never sell to just the needs of the client, because most of your prospects don't know what they need when you first start talking to them. Am I right? Was Steve Jobs right when he says prospects don't know what they need? Now, they might have an idea of what they need. They might have an idea of what the real problem is, but they don't know how bad the problem is because they're on the inside. You're on the outside. They don't understand. Maybe they know they have a problem, but they don't know how bad that problem is. And maybe they don't understand the consequences of what will happen if they don't do anything from solving that problem. Now, through your questioning skills that you can acquire, if you learn NEPQ that we train you in our training courses, and our group training especially, the group training is so important, not just the virtual courses. Not only are we going to show you how to help them find one problem, but now we're going to help them find 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 other problems they didn't realize they had. And when you're able to help them find that, not by telling them, because that goes in one ear out the other, you're biased, you're the salesperson. Your questioning ability allows them to tell themselves and see that in their mind. And once you do that, you're selling on the real problems, and then you're selling them on what their future is going to look like once all these newfound problems are actually solved. That's how you make a lot of money in cybersecurity as well. We have cybersecurity salespeople that make 500 grand a year, 600, 800 grand a year. We have some that make over $1 million a year in commissions selling exactly what you do now. So if you want to make that, you might want to message me directly to see what your training options are if you want to sell like that, because you can do that for sure. Okay. That's a good question. Thank you, Sam. Otis, I'm a photographer. How can I get new clients by cold calling? Okay. So as a photographer, the worst thing you can do is start cold calling out of a phone book. That makes zero sense. Okay. And I don't know if you're doing that, but dude, if you pick up your phone and start doing 2 reels a day on Instagram to your audience about what you do, okay, and like little tips and stuff, guess what? People are going to start messaging you. And then you're going to get them on the phone or on Zoom. And if you learn NEPQ, you're going to close probably 75% of them. Okay. Maybe more. Cold calling for your industry wouldn't make any sense. I'm just giving you a suggestion. Like, I can teach you how to cold call. I don't have time to teach you how to cold call here. It'd be a 3-hour training. You want to cold call, get into our virtual training courses. We teach all that as well. But for what you sell, if you started literally doing reels, 2 reels a day, and like little, hey, next time you're doing this, set your camera on this, do that. People are going to start paying attention to that and start viewing you as the expert or the authority because they see you every day. Okay. And then you can start sending them messages on IG. A lot of them will message you, and you're going to make 20 times more than you if you were just cold calling. Even if I taught you the very best cold calling skill, it's just far more effective. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good question here. Not LS. I'm in the compressor industry, train a lot of people in that, trying to sound more professional with clients as I'm only 18. Okay. Let me give you an example. So we have about 27 internal account executives that sell our training programs. Okay. B2B and B2C. 27 or 28 now, all over the world. Because some of them are here in the Scottsdale office, some in our Sydney, Australia office, and then some of them work virtually right now. Okay. Our number one rep is just barely 18. He's 18 years old. Okay. I think last year he made close to $500,000. This year on the pay plan that we have our reps on this next year, he'll make about $750,000. He'll be 19. Now, does he sound professional? Yeah. But he learned how to sound professional. He wasn't born sounding professional. The way you sound professional as a sales professional is not by talking the whole time. In fact, that makes you look average. In fact, that makes you look like a salesperson. You don't want the prospect to feel you are trying to sell them something, because that's when they emotionally shut down. When you have a salesperson trying to sell you something, what do? You emotionally protect yourself. You go into fight or flight mode by the way they're coming at you, like the way they come across with you, their tone and the questions they ask, and the cheesy one-liners, and their excitement, their enthusiasm turns you off. It's just the way human behavior works. So you act professional by learning what questions to ask and when to pause when you're asking certain things, and verbal cues that bridge into the next question, that make it sound more conversational, like you're an expert. So instead of them feeling like you're interrogating them, like most consultative selling questions do, because they're logical based, okay, they're surface level questions, we can train you how to ask surface level questions that then bridge in to keep them going under the surface, okay, and that triggers their emotional state. Those type of things in your tone trigger them to view you as more of the authority, the expert. Our 18-year-old, do you know the reason why he makes so much money? People don't think he's 18. They think he's an expert. It doesn't matter the age. They don't view him as an 18-year-old. They view him as the authority. They view him as the expert. Not because he knows a lot, but his questions get the prospect to think about their current situation and think about where they want to be. And then look at what's holding them back from getting there. What they're saying and asking is holding them back. It's not working. And once they change that, they get the result they want. And they view him as the expert that's going to help them get there, along with our company. So hopefully that helps you give a perspective on that. Don't let your age hold you back as a sales professional. In fact, after my first year being in sales, once I started to figure out, because my background in college is behavioral science and human psychology. So I was learning from my professors like Robert Cialdini. Anybody ever heard of Robert Cialdini? Wrote a book called Persuasion, talks about persuasion, persuasion. Wrote a book called Influence. Well, he's one of my professors. I had many professors like him. I took additional courses from NYU professors on psychology and how the brain works. Why does the human brain say yes or no? Why does the brain decide to go left or right? Why does the brain go into fight or flight mode? That might be important for you guys to understand if you're trying to persuade somebody, if you're trying to sell something. Because if you don't understand that, well, you're just losing sales that you could be making, that our clients who sell what you do make every day. Okay, so to answer your question, where am I going with this? You lost my train of thought. Once you acquire the right skills, I mean, by the time I was 22 years old, I was the vice president of sales for a very large company. And it wasn't because I was some cool dude. Okay, give me 2 more minutes. I know I got to get in there. It wasn't because I was some cool dude. It's because I outsold everybody else in the company 10-1, even people that were 25 years older than me. And when you're doing that, guess what? Your boss doesn't care how old you are. They don't care about any of that because they can't ignore you at that point. They literally cannot ignore your skill level. And you'll have the best position in the company that you want because your skill level, your performance, people can't ignore. When you're outselling everybody else 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times to 1, you're of course going to get promoted. You can do anything you want. That's up to you and acquiring the skills to do that, though. Because if you don't acquire the skills, well, are you just going to hope and pray it works out for you? See, like my bishop says, God feeds the birds, but he doesn't drop the worms in their nest. You have to go out and acquire the skills. It's not going to force you to learn skills so you sell more. It's up to you to go out and acquire those skills because they're all right here. They're in our virtual training courses. They're in a group training. It's not like they're not there. They're all right there. Are you scared to learn how to sell more? Or do you want to just keep playing small, not selling what you could? That's a decision you have to make for you and your family. But it impacts your family, as you know, for generations to come. Because if you don't make a lot more than you are now, your kids are affected, right? Because they don't have the lifestyle that you want for them. And they start to think at a lower level. They don't think big. So if you want your family to think big, if you want to impact your family for generations to come, well, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to acquire more skills? Are you going to acquire a higher skill level and more advanced sales ability? Or are you just going to shrink in fear because you don't want to sell more? Like, why do you want to sell less than what you could? Anyways, guys, Merry Christmas. They're calling me in there. I'm like way behind. I feel bad. I didn't even get over to TikTok. I love you guys. Amazing how when you say you're not opposed to something, I'm not sure what that means, but maybe I just didn't miss the context. Anyways, guys, sorry about that. Merry Christmas. Hopefully I didn't have much time with you guys today. Next week, we'll not have any lives. So I just wanted you to know, unless I'm on a ski trip, I'm going up to Flagstaff, Arizona. It's just a 2-hour drive north of Scottsdale here, where we have our corporate headquarters for the United States. So yeah, I'm going up there with the fam for a week. Gonna just chill out, no lives. I know I might go live might go live in the Facebook group. I might go live once in the Facebook group. Maybe they'll convince me. So if you want to join the Facebook group next week, if I go live, go to salesrevolution.pro. So I'm going to have somebody, most of the team's off this week already, so I'll probably have to post it myself. I'm like the only person in the office today. I don't know what's going on. So go to www.salesrevolution.pro. So go to sales. I can't even spell right. So you don't even have to spell, and you can make a lot of money as a salesperson. My mama told me that I was not the sharpest tool in the shed when I was younger. Salesrevolution.pro. Okay, so go to salesrevolution.pro. So if you're on YouTube, or if you're on LinkedIn, or my personal Facebook or the business page, or if you're here on Instagram, or if you're on TikTok, go to salesrevolution.pro. Salesrevolution.pro. Join the free Facebook group. There's about 42,000 salespeople in that Facebook group. Started a little bit over a year ago. It's growing rapidly, a couple hundred a day now, it seems like. So go to salesrevolution.pro. We go live in there about 3 or 4 times a week, different Q&As, different trainings. We just give you little nibbles in there. Nothing's advanced. I just want you to know that. But even people from the nibble stuff sell more. But if you want to like double your sales, triple, and I'm not kidding when I say this, if you want to make 5 times what you are now, when you get in the Facebook group, just message us. And somebody on my team, or even myself, if I have time, will jump in there and give you different training options for your industry if you want to sell more. Quinn, this live was hot. Man, I didn't even really cover anything today. I just gave you some like motivation. I'm typically going to teach you tactical skills. I love motivational stuff, but when the prospect answers the phone, if you don't know what to say and ask that trigger them to want to engage and go below the surface, all that motivation stuff you just read that morning does you no good. It's all about your tactical skill level. And once you start closing a lot, guess what? You become really, really motivated because you're not afraid of talking with your prospects anymore. But you are afraid when you don't make that many sales, right? And when you get rejected over and over and over, because you're a human being. No human being wants to get slapped in the face, rejected all the time. So the way you reduce that greatly is by acquiring more advanced skills than you have now. It's really that simple. Anyways, Merry Christmas. Love you guys. We'll be back in motion Monday, January 2nd. All right. Go to salesrevolution.pro. Merry Christmas to everybody. Spend time with your families. That's the most important thing, an asset you have in your life.